The mist covered the Scottish fields like a soft and silent blanket, spreading among the hills as if it wished to hide the entire world in an embrace of fog and memory. The train moved slowly, cutting through the landscape with its body of steel and distant echoes, as if it were gliding not only over tracks, but over the very threads of time. Outside, raindrops slid lazily down the windows, turning the view of the landscape into a watercolor painting in constant motion. Ancient trees passed by like dense shadows, while in the distance, small villages lit their lights as if silently waving to those traveling on without haste. Inside the carriage, everything was still. Soft cushions, warm yellow lights, and the gentle, hypnotic creaking of the tracks beneath the wheels created an atmosphere that embraced the weary soul of anyone resting there. The sound of the rain on the roof of the carriage was constant, yet gentle, like a forgotten song someone still remembers to sing to the ears of long nights. Each curve, each dark tunnel, seemed to lead not only to new destinations but to places that exist only in dreams. Places where time slows down and the world exhales in peace. Have you ever wondered where thoughts go when we travel alone at night? What happens to the whispers kept in the heart when everything around is silence and the train moves forward in the dark? This story is about that journey. Not just along tracks and lands, but deep into an ancient peace that still lives in the Scottish night. A train, a soft rain, and a path rocked by the memory of mountains and lakes. If your eyes are tired, if your body asks for rest and your mind seeks a calm harbor, allow yourself to follow us on this enchanted ride. You don't need to do anything, just listen. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the journey carry you. Because tonight, sleep is the one guiding, and the destination is the deepest, most serene rest there is. Before we continue, how about liking this video? It helps the channel a lot to keep bringing soft stories like this one. Now, get comfortable, the train is departing. The train moved slowly across the vastness of the Scottish Highlands, as if obeying an ancient rhythm, carefully preserved by the wind, the stones, and the memories of time. It was as if each rail had been laid not only to carry passengers, but to tell stories asleep in the silence of dawn. The hills, covered in a dark green that gleamed from the rain, watched the journey with invisible eyes, accomplices to an ancestral peace. The droplets of water slid lazily down the carriage windows, and anyone watching them could swear they formed little rivers running into their own dreams. The sound of the rain mixed with the movement of the train created a melody that needed no words. One only had to listen with an open heart. It was as if everything there was alive, pulsing slowly, in harmony with the night. Some isolated houses appeared in the distance, with lit windows like watchful eyes. It was impossible not to imagine who lived there. A shepherd who had just fed his sheep, an old lady preparing tea while she watches the same train pass, night after night. Those small points of light in the dark told stories we would never hear, but that we could feel. The railway wound its way through silent valleys. Each curve revealed a new landscape. At times, still lakes like mirrors. At others, dense woods where not even the moon dared to enter. The sky, heavy with clouds, seemed to rest upon the earth with an ancient tenderness, like a mother covering her child for a night's sleep. Inside, the carriage was warm, comfortable, almost as welcoming as a cocoon. The soft lights flickered, reflecting on the wet glass, while some passengers dozed in silence. The train did not carry only people, but their thoughts, their memories, their gentle intentions of rest. It was a journey that asked for no hurry, that required no arrival. Have you ever felt like that? As if you were in a place where everything conspires for calm, where nothing demands from you, it only invites you to be present, to breathe slowly, to surrender. This train is that, and you are on it now, traveling without haste through the quiet hills of Scotland. If you feel this peace arriving, this sweet sleep approaching, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling us where you're listening from. That way, we can keep bringing stories like this to more sleep travelers like you. Feel the soft rhythm of the wheels on the tracks. They are in no rush. Each tap, each metallic click on the ground is a reminder that time moves differently here. It stretches, it expands, it dissolves into the sound of the rain and the distant music of the wind. The trees outside seem to observe the journey with reverence. Their branches bow slightly under the weight of the water, and there is something almost solemn in that gesture. A forest that does not speak, but understands. A silence that embraces, that welcomes, that rocks. Farther ahead, an old bridge appears, made of dark stones and thick moss. It crosses a serene river that reflects the night as if it were another sky. The train crosses it slowly, as one who respects the path. The vibration changes slightly. There's a brief metallic echo which fades soon after. Some passengers look out the window, enchanted. Others simply rest, eyes closed, lulled by the motion. And maybe that is the beauty of this journey. It serves both those who wish to see and those who wish only to feel. You are safe here. Nothing will interrupt this path. The train will keep moving through the night, guided by invisible and silent hands, taking you deeper and deeper toward complete rest. And if sleep hasn't come yet, that's all right. Just keep listening. Let my voice guide your thoughts like the tracks guide the train. Slowly, steadily, in peace. There is no final destination on this journey. Only the path, only the moment, only you, sleep, and the dark Scottish hills, lit by the memory of time. Just after the bridge, the train enters a brief tunnel. The sound changes, becomes deeper, as if we were entering an ancient cave that holds old echoes. The stone walls pass close to the windows, and the carriage's interior light reflects off them in fragments of color and shadow. For a few seconds, everything seems suspended. The sound of the rain disappears. Only the engine whispering and the tracks sounding like a distant song can be heard. And then, as we come out the other side, it's as if the world breathes again. We return to the open landscape, and now it feels even quieter, as if it had stopped just to wait for us. A vast field stretches as far as the eye can see. The damp pastures shine under the fine rain. A few cows rest beneath solitary trees. There is a great peace there, a simplicity that touches the heart. You feel as if you could stay there forever. The sky begins to lighten slightly, not with brightness, but with a silvery paleness. The dawn still belongs to the land, but there is already a promise in the air. Something will be born. Something will change. But not yet. Not yet. We still have time. Inside the train, someone begins to draw. A girl, her hair tied in a messy bun, holds a sketchbook in her lap. She sketches the landscape outside with colored pencils. Her face is calm, her expression serene. She says nothing. She just observes and draws. There is something magical in watching someone completely surrendered to the moment. And this journey is made of that, silent surrenders. People who give themselves to the beauty of the simple, to the glide of the train, to the rain touching the glass, to the night that wraps like a lullaby. The conductor walks slowly through the corridor, smiling at the passengers. His step is rhythmic, his gaze gentle. He says nothing, but he seems to understand that each person there is living their own crossing. He respects that silence. He protects it. The train continues. The mountains draw near again. Enormous, silent, veiled in clouds. It is like traveling among sleeping giants. They do not move, but you feel their presence. You feel their protection. Each minute is a deeper dive. And if you wish, you can close your eyes now. The train will go on. I'll be here narrating. The journey is only just beginning. The lake appeared suddenly, mirroring the cloudy sky on its smooth and deep surface. The train wound along its edge like a thread of memory, stitching the silence of the water to the whisper of the night. It was as if we were floating, gliding over a world frozen in time. The shores were decorated with small wildflowers, their colors faded by the faint light of dawn. Still, each one of them seemed alive, resilient, like little guardians of calm. The wind blew gently over the lake, creating soft ripples, like visible sighs of the earth. Inside the carriage, the atmosphere was a cocoon. Cushions, blankets, calm breaths. Everything said, rest. There were no obligations, no decisions. Only the present, only the sound, only the soft warmth that wrapped bodies and thoughts. Can you imagine the smell of the wooden carriage? A mixture of ancient history with a hint of lavender, perhaps left behind by someone from the past. And the sound of the raindrops? They created patterns, danced on the glass as if they knew just the right rhythm to lull the mind into sleep. At the back of the carriage, an elderly lady with gray hair read softly. No one could hear her words, but the gentle tone of her reading was felt like a vibration in the air. That voice seemed to be part of the journey's very soundtrack. Invisible yet essential. At some point, the train slowed down. A small station emerged, covered in thick fog. No one got off. No one boarded. We just stopped. For a moment, everything stood still. The sound of the rain seemed to grow louder. It was as if time had paused to breathe with us. And then we moved on, slowly. Even more slowly than before, as if the train itself were sleepy, and maybe it was. After all, it is also part of this story, part of this collective sleep that spreads across the tracks. The lights outside dim, and inside, everything remains the same. Calm deepens, eyes grow heavier, the body relaxes, and the journey continues. The train now crosses a region where the land rises gently. The hills ripple like blankets carefully folded. The mist dances among them, rising, falling, disappearing and returning like a breath from the earth itself. It is a landscape that doesn't impose, it only whispers. On the left side, a small stone chapel appears. It stands alone at the top of a rise with a silent bell tower. There is no light, no movement, and yet It feels alive, as if it guarded centuries of whispered prayers in nights like this. The trees around it are covered in thick moss. Some bend under their own weight, forming natural arches that seem like portals to another time. And who knows, maybe they are. Perhaps the train, in its sleepy rhythm, also travels through memories and possibilities. Inside the carriage, an elderly couple shares silent glances. They hold hands. They don't need to speak. They've already said everything that matters over the years. Now they simply are, together, present, and that presence is stronger than any word. The sound of the wheels changes slightly, as if the tracks had been laid over a different kind of stone. A soft metallic vibration fills the air, echoing through the carriage walls and within the chest. It is an ancient music, born from the contact between iron and earth. In the distance, a lone deer crosses the field. Its movements are slow, careful. It pauses for a moment and looks in the direction of the train, as if it knows someone is watching. And then it disappears into the shadows, like a memory that slips away before waking. Do you feel your body lighter now? Your mind less burdened? It's natural. Here, everything invites rest. Nothing demands your attention. Everything welcomes you with tenderness. This is a place where even thoughts lie down. A little further ahead, the train passes through an old stone passage. It is narrow, damp, covered in ivy. It seems to have been built for a smaller, simpler world. And as we cross it, we feel as if we're traveling back in time. Everything becomes more intimate, closer to the heart. Someone in the carriage begins to play a small instrument, perhaps a pocket flute or a soft, tuned whistle. The notes float in the air like feathers, accompanying the rain and the voice of the train. It is a moment as brief as it is perfect. The conductor watches from a distance, without interfering. He knows there's something sacred about this night, something that can't be explained, that can only be felt. And he honors that with the same reverence the forest has for the stars. The warm interior light of the carriage now seems softer, as if the space itself is responding to the passenger's state of mind. Everything is aligned for rest. The hills become denser, closer. The train now travels between short tunnels and tight curves. There is a feeling of shelter, as if we are being embraced by the earth itself. And while the outside world darkens even more, the inner world glows with tranquility. A gentle warmth spreads through the chest, dissolving any remaining tension. You can close your eyes if you wish, or keep your gaze fixed on the window, watching the darkness pass by like an unhurried film. Both choices are right. Both lead you to the same place. A deep rest, a gentle sleep. And even if there are still a few thoughts wandering inside, that's okay. They too will settle. Everything settles here. Everything surrenders to the rhythm of the train. Right after another gentle curve, the scenery changes again. Now it's the turn of an ancient, dense forest, where the train passes like a respectful visitor. The trees are tall, slender, and seem to watch the movement with eyes of wood and silence. The early morning light, though faint, filters through the branches and casts strange shapes on the ground. They are living shadows, moving slowly with the wind, as if dancing for those who know how to see. And the train honors that rhythm, slowing almost imperceptibly. Inside the carriage, breaths grow deeper. Some passengers have already fallen asleep, their heads gently tilted, cradled like children in a magical carriage. The journey goes on, guiding their dreams through invisible tracks of calm. Do you notice the sound of the rain changing? Now it falls more gently, as if it too were tired, as if it wanted to sleep. The drops no longer rush. They simply fall and rest just like you. Beside the carriage, small stones glisten under the water. It's as if the ground were also full of stars, reflecting the faded skies of early morning. Beauty doesn't shout here. It whispers. Farther ahead, a clearing opens. At its center, a small circular lake, perfectly still. A natural mirror. The train passes by, and for a moment, it feels like we're traveling between two worlds, the real and the reflected. Inside the train, a young man looks out the window and smiles. He doesn't know why he's smiling, but something inside him feels grateful. For the night, for the sound, for the silence that now fills his entire body. There's something comforting in the repetition of the tracks. Each beat, each vibration is familiar, like the heart of the earth calling back everything that got lost on rush days. And you, listening, might feel the urge not to return, to stay on this journey a little longer. And that's okay. You can. Time doesn't run here. It floats like mist over the fields. The conductor, in the distance, watches the horizon. He knows every curve, every bridge, every stretch of this road. But even so, each journey is new, because every passenger is unique, and he feels that and honors it. The sounds in the carriage are minimal now. A faint creak of the wood, a sleeping sigh, the breath of the night. Everything forms a song meant to close the eyes and let go. If by chance your thoughts start to stir, remember, you can let them pass like landscapes outside the window. You don't need to follow them. Just observe them until they disappear. Another tunnel, another dive into protective darkness. In here, nothing can reach you. You are safe. You're being carried away from everything that weighs you down. The train now approaches a marshy region, but there is no danger. On the contrary, the landscape is of a rare, humid beauty. Small rises covered in dense vegetation, interspersed with mirrors of water reflecting the early morning like a liquid promise of silence. The sound of the tracks now seems to echo more, as if the very ground were hollow and deep. The train's vibration travels through your feet, your seat, and reaches your heart like an old, familiar beat. Between the windows, an owl briefly lands on a fence. Its eyes shine in the dark, and then it takes off again, flying low and serene. It's a symbol of the night, of the wisdom that only reveals itself when everything is calm. Inside the carriage, a child sleeps in her father's lap. Her breathing is light, almost imperceptible. The father watches her with a calm, steady gaze. The image is a portrait of what everyone here is seeking: peace. A gentle mist slips through the mountain cracks and glides along the tracks like a transparent veil. It doesn't frighten, it enchants. It's as if the train were being guided by soft spirits of sleep. The rain slowly stops, the drops fade, and silence settles firmly. But it's not an empty silence. It's a silence that speaks, that cradles, that protects. You now notice your body becoming even lighter. The mind loosens. The eyes blink slowly. Sleep has already come for some, and for you it's arriving gently. without hurry, like a long embrace. The scenery changes once more. Open fields with stones covered in lichen, isolated like loose thoughts. And the train passes, altering nothing. It simply observes and moves on. Inside, a woman writes in a notebook. Her pencil dances on the paper with the delicacy of someone in no rush to finish. Maybe she's writing a poem. Maybe she's just letting words come together in the rhythm of the train. The conductor passes again, looks at her, smiles, and continues. He knows each passenger without knowing their names. A glance is enough. Silence is enough. Another curve. The lake returns from a different angle. Now there are reflections of small stars beginning to appear between the clouds. The night begins to show its clearer face. You feel your chest expand, not from anxiety, but from stillness, from a rare sensation, simply being, simply existing. And the train continues, as it will for a while longer, and you, if you wish, may continue with it. You may keep sleeping, keep listening, keep resting, as a living part of this endless story. The sky begins to open slightly. It's still night, but there's a promise of dawn in the air. A faint bluish hue teases the edges of the horizon, as if the world were whispering that the day is not far. But there's no rush. The train remains in the dark a little longer. We now pass a stretch where the track runs beside a low cliff. In the distance, the sea appears quiet, almost still. Its waves are small pulses against the rocks. The sound is so subtle it blends with the old rain that now only lives in the memory of the glass. In the carriage, almost everyone is asleep. Heads leaning, bodies relaxed, breathing in rhythm. There is a collective peace spreading like a perfume in the air, a state in which bodies surrender, trusting. A man alone looks outside, and even though no one sees, he smiles with his eyes. An intimate smile, like someone who has found something lost long ago. Maybe himself, maybe a forgotten dream. The lights inside the train dim even further, as if wanting to protect the sleep of those who've surrendered. The twilight gently wraps around everything, like a loving mother covering her sleeping child. Outside, a wooden bridge approaches. The train crosses it slowly. The structure creaks softly, but there's no threat. It's just the wood saying, "I'm here, still strong." And the sound echoes gently, like an old friend being visited. The distant mountains appear for a moment between the clouds. Their outlines are dark, soft. They don't frighten. They are like ancient sentinels, guardians of time and rest. The scent in the air is of wet earth, of moss, of pure night. And even if you're not there physically, your body feels it all. It's as if the landscape enters through your ears, your eyes, through the slow rhythm of the narration. A different sound arises. Distant bells, soft, coming from a hidden village, almost imperceptible but real. And for a moment, it feels like the whole village is asleep too, swaying with the train. The conductor walks silently down the corridor. His steps are almost inaudible. He stops in front of a window, observes for a few seconds, then moves on, as if checking that everything is in its place. It is another curve, another change of scenery. Now, small crops covered with plastic veils shine under the dew. They look like miniature worlds gently sheltering life. You feel your shoulders relax a bit more, your jaw loose, your hands without tension. Your body is already moving to a different rhythm. The rhythm of the train, the rhythm of the night. Maybe you're about to fall asleep. Maybe you're already dreaming with your eyes open. In either case, it's all right. This journey was made for that. To dissolve the rush, to quiet the inner world. The carriage rocks gently, a constant motion, like the cradling of a cradle made of steel and wood. Each sway is an invitation, each minute a surrender. The mountains drift away. Now the train follows a vast field. In the distance, an old castle appears in ruins, covered in mist. There is no fear, only beauty, a beauty that endures even after everything has passed. And now you are part of this scenery, even with your eyes closed, even in silence. You are traveling too, and everything you carry is slowly being left behind. There's a sense of timelessness now, as if the train weren't going anywhere, but simply being, existing, breathing. The night is the track itself, and calm is the fuel. The carriage remains in absolute silence. The small sounds that arise, the creak of the wood, the whisper of the wind, sound like part of an old symphony cradling each passenger. The rain returns, but not like before. Now it's just fine droplets, scattered, as if the sky were caressing the earth with tenderness. They tap against the glass so softly, they seem to whisper words no one needs to understand. Outside, a row of low trees lines up beside the track. They sway in the wind in a rhythm that seems rehearsed, as if dancing for the train. Inside, a young woman writes something in her journal. She writes slowly, not to wake anyone, but mostly because she's in no rush to finish. Each word she writes is like a deep breath, a relief. The conductor adjusts something on the panel ahead. A brief mechanical sound, then silence again. Everything continues. Everything flows. The world outside takes on cooler tones. Soft blues and grays dominate the landscape. It's as if time had dissolved the colors so the eyes could rest too. You feel your body temperature regulate. Your heart beats slowly. The mind is suspended between the present and sleep. Neither awake nor asleep. Perfect in between. The train passes through a sleeping village. Small houses, motionless chimneys, streetlights on with no one around. It's like a painting in motion. Nothing stirs. Nothing rushes. A dog in the distance lifts its head, watches the train, and lies back down, as if saying, "It's not time to act. It's time to rest." The stars are more visible now, white points in a sky still holding remnants of cloud. The train seems to cross through invisible constellations, as if each passenger were being led by a personal Milky Way. A brief reflection in the window shows your own face, calm, peaceful, maybe more serene than it's been all day. It's a comforting sight. Confirmation. Yes, you are where you need to be. A breeze slips through a crack, but it isn't cold. It's like a good old memory, a whisper of something that once made you smile, and still does. Time keeps passing, but you don't feel it, because here time bends. It folds itself before peace. Another tunnel approaches, and when it ends, the sky is already a little brighter. The train hasn't stopped, and you can still keep going. Now, the first light of day begins to rise more firmly. It's not a strong light. It's a beginning, a golden thread outlining the distant mountains. But even this glow doesn't break the enchantment of the night. The train slows down slightly, as if wanting to stretch this moment between night and day, between sleep and wakefulness. It's a sacred border where everything seems possible. The fields are now covered in a light dew. They shine as if dressed in liquid diamonds. The train moves slowly, honoring this fleeting beauty. The conductor turns on a soft light in the corridor. It doesn't disturb. It only signals that the world outside is changing, even if inside, it's still night. An elderly woman wakes up slowly. She blinks, stretches her fingers, but says nothing. She simply smiles, as if she had the best dream. You notice your breathing is still deep, but more aware. Maybe you're not asleep anymore, but you're not fully awake either. You're in a state we rarely visit. Pure rest. The mountains now have a sharper outline. Birds begin to sing in the distance, shyly. It's as if the world were testing the first sounds of a new day. An old windmill turns slowly beside the track. Its blades move gently, pushed by an unhurried wind. Time is still slow. Inside the carriage, the luggage remains untouched. No one wants to move yet. The journey continues, and everyone knows it, even without words. The sky opens in pastel tones. Lilac, light blue, gold. It's as if the universe is painting the morning with soft brushes, respecting the dreams of those still sleeping. You observe, feel, breathe, and you realize you might not need to sleep anymore, because this journey on its own is already deep rest. The conductor looks at his watch, smiles, but says nothing, because he knows here time doesn't matter. What matters is the path. Another curve, an open field, a stream reflecting the rising light. Everything so serene, so carefully simple. You feel like you could stay here much longer. And you can, because this train has no final destination. It goes as far as your peace allows. And in the meantime, you continue, with a loose body, with a light mind, with a silent heart. The train now glides across a wide plain, open like a long sigh. The mountains are behind, and the vastness ahead seems endless. But there is no emptiness. There is space. Space to breathe, to exist without weight. The sound of the wheels continues, steady, rhythmic, like a calm heart. Everything seems to beat in time with that rhythm. The air, the thoughts, the earth itself. Outside, the trees are more spaced out. Large solitary oaks scattered like guardians of the field. Their canopies sway gently, offering shade to no one, simply existing. The sky, now deep in transition, mixes shades of pink and gold. The light begins to touch everything with delicacy, revealing the world little by little, like someone waking another with a kiss on the forehead. In the carriage, some people begin to wake slowly. There are no words, just subtle, slow movements that treat silence like a sanctuary. A couple shifted positions without noticing. Now they sleep leaning on each other, as if dancing in their sleep. The train rocks this invisible choreography with its gentle march. You watch everything as if outside of time. Nothing pushes, nothing demands. The journey continues, and that's enough. In the distance, fields of wildflowers begin to appear. Small, colorful patches on the ground. They barely move. They just exist. And their existence is enough to make everything more beautiful. The farmhouse appears for a moment. Quiet chimney, faint light in the window. Maybe someone is waking up now. Maybe just watching the train go by, like watching a dream pass through a crack. The conductor softly rings a bell. The sound is gentle, almost imperceptible. It serves only to remind, we are moving, but you may keep resting. The clouds in the sky stretch into long, soft shapes, like brushstrokes from a lazy artist. One who paints slowly to avoid breaking the spell. You rest your head, or maybe you just allow yourself to relax even more. You feel your body sink gently into the seat without resistance, as if the train itself were a cocoon. Outside, a group of sheep grazes quietly. Some lift their heads to see the train, then go back to grazing as if to say, everything is fine. Another curve, another new scene, now a mirror-like lake. Its surface reflects the sky so perfectly it seems the world repeats itself there, as if the landscape were folding onto itself. And you, both spectator and passenger, continue. With eyes closed or not, you are already immersed. This is not just a journey. It is a dive into liquid peace. And the day, even as it arrives, respects every second of your slowness. Now the train enters a forest. The trees are tall and close together, like columns of a natural cathedral. Sunlight filters through in thin beams, lighting the path like invisible rails. The sound changes slightly. The wheels still sing, but now they are accompanied by the soft rustle of leaves brushing the roof, of branches touching the glass, like a song composed just for this part of the journey. The vegetation is dense, but not oppressive. It's a green embrace. Each leaf, each trunk, seems to greet the train with reverence, as if recognizing its sacred presence. Outside, squirrels dart between branches. Colorful birds glide across the sky with grace. Everything moves in silence, honoring the dreamlike atmosphere that has spread both inside and out. A small stream winds through the trees, following the tracks for a few minutes. Its sound is pure, crystalline, like distant children's laughter. Inside the carriage, the air smells of old wood, book paper, and damp earth, a scent that welcomes, that soothes, as if you were inside a story you've always wanted to live. A child wakes up, rubs their eyes, and immediately falls back asleep, as if their body were saying, "Not yet, it's not time to wake up yet." You feel your own body lighter, as if the forest were washing away yesterday's fatigue, not with water, but with silence, greenery, and time. The conductor smiles as he passes, says nothing, just observes. His expression radiates calm. He's taken this path many times, and it always ends well. The roots of the trees intertwine with rocks and soil. They hold the world with strength and tenderness. And even though you're only listening, your body understands that steadiness. An owl watches the train from above, perched on a thick branch. Its eyes shine in the morning light. It isn't startled. It just watches as if guarding a secret. Shadows dance on the windows. The sun, filtering through the branches, paints temporary shapes. It's as if time were playing with paint inside the carriage. You rest your hand on the seat. It's warm, alive, like everything around you. There's no rush, no interruptions, just continuity. Farther ahead, the forest begins to open. The light intensifies, The transition is gentle, as if nature were saying, "Prepare yourself, we're almost out." And when the train leaves the forest behind, you feel that something inside you has changed, as if you hadn't just crossed a place but a state of mind. And the silence that remains keeps echoing, soft, deep, eternal. Now, in front of the train, a vast valley unfolds. Open fields, crisscrossed by small dirt roads, distant houses and stone fences. It's a scene of ancestral peace. The sun is now high enough to bathe everything in golden light, but still low enough that the shadows are long and soft. It's a magical moment where everything feels newborn. The carriage remains quiet. Even those who are awake don't speak. They just gaze or keep their eyes closed, as if still dreaming with open eyes. Outside, a woman walks through a field with a dog by her side. She stops, looks at the train, and waves gently, a gesture without hurry, just an acknowledgement that we are all alive and moving. The locomotive lets out a sigh of steam, a full, warm sound that rises to the sky and vanishes like a good thought. And then silence again. The fields are interrupted by small streams. Stone bridges cross them, like paths between worlds. The train crosses one with delicate grace. You feel your shoulders relax even more. The journey feels endless, but that's a good thing. It's an eternity without wait, a time that demands nothing. The conductor watches the panel. No alarms, no adjustments needed. Everything flows as it should. The train is in perfect harmony with the world. In the distance, ancient towers rise between hills, maybe a castle, maybe just ruins, but there is beauty in their persistence. They still stand, like memories made of stone. You feel like you're being carried not only by rails, but through yourself. Each stretch reveals something outside and within. A gentle breeze slips in through the slightly open window, carries the scent of wildflowers, a subtle perfume only nature knows how to create. A few more curves, a few more distant mountains. Everything moves, but nothing hurries. Every meter traveled is an invitation to stay. The conductor passes once more. His eyes meet yours. There is a silent understanding there, as if he were saying, "You can trust." The train now runs parallel to a dirt road. A cyclist rides beside it for a few moments. He smiles, waves, and then disappears from view. But he left a trace of lightness in the air. You feel like sighing, and maybe you do, not 'cause you're tired, but 'cause you're grateful. Grateful for this moment. And even if the day's still being born out there in here, it's all still sleep. The landscape starts shifting, getting wavy. Hills pop up like folded blankets on the horizon, soft and never-ending. The train weaves through them gentle like it's bowing to every damn curve in the earth. Out there, sunlight drips through the clouds in golden streaks. Columns of light that look like they're showing the train the way, like ghost torches pointing to some sacred place. The fields are scattered with little purple and yellow flowers. Some lean into the wind, others just freeze, like they're listening to the sound of the train drifting by. Inside the car, the vibe's the same. Still, hushed, mellow. Even the ones awake don't dare make noise. It's like everyone just knows. This silence is too damn precious to break. The kids are still out cold. The grown folks look like kids too. There's something innocent in how their faces rest, rocked steady by the train's lullaby. An old lady's holding a book with a red cover, but her eyes ain't moved in a while. She's lost somewhere between the words and the rhythm of the rails. And maybe right now that's better than any story ever written. The clouds are thicker now, painting the sky in soft grays. Not storming, just watching, like blankets spread out over the world. Rain starts tapping, first light like fingers on glass, then steadier, building a slow beat that melts right into the clatter of wheels on steel. The world feels smaller now, closer. The rain wraps the train in a bubble, like you're rolling through a glass cocoon made of sound. Out there, the fields roll on, green, soaked, beautiful. The rain turns the colors up. Every leaf feels more alive. Every stone got weight. A rabbit darts through the bushes, disappears for a sec, then pops back, watching, maybe curious, maybe just chill with the train's presence. You shift in your seat. Your body answers back with a quiet thank you. It's lighter now, looser. Gravity don't hit the same here, or maybe it just don't matter no more. Raindrops race down the windows, making paths that go nowhere. Lines that show up and fade, like thoughts that never turn into worry. The conductor ain't been around in a bit, but that don't bother you. His absence feels like trust, like a guardian who knows the road by heart. Now the tracks cross a narrow bridge over a river. The sound changes again, just for a blink, but it's beautiful, like a chord struck in a quiet song. And while the train rolls on, the rain sings, soft, stubborn, perfect. The train climbs higher now. On both sides, the world cracks wide open like a painting. The horizon stretches far as your eyes'll go, and still, everything stays quiet. The rain's still there, but distant, like it stayed behind or stepped back real gentle, leaving just a fresh memory floatin' in the air. A mist creeps in, low and slow, dancing between the trees and wrap pin around the hills. It don't hide nothing, just cradles. Every bit of it calls for stillness. The train eases up, slows down, not 'cause it has to out of respect, like tiptoeing past someone dreaming. In the car, faces stay soft. Some folks smile in their sleep. Others just breathe deep, floatin' in the comfort of now. You hear your own sigh. It slips out light, almost invisible, but it says something. You're safe. You're here. You're real. Out there, a bunch of deer show up in the distance. They stand still, watching. One of them steps closer to the edge of the woods. Its eyes flash, just for a second. In the mist, the forest returns, but more open this time. Clearings spread like tiny pockets of light. Big trees shape out natural hallways, and the train glides through like a welcome guest. The wood of the tracks sings a little different here. Like every step the train takes is answered by some invisible choir of leaves, roots, and wind. You close your eyes for a moment, and even then you see with your body, with stillness, with that deep down feeling that everything's just right. The conductor shows up again, walking slow, looks at each passenger like he's counting stars, gives a quiet smile and fades out again. Outside, an old stone tower stands on a far-off hill. Ivy's all over it, maybe abandoned, but alive. There's stories in it. And even if you don't know them, you feel them. The train takes a long, slow curve, like a hug in slow motion. Everything bends with it. The world seems to lean in too. You notice the weight's lighter on your shoulders. Thoughts ain't tight no more. Your whole body's riding the rhythm of this trip like it already knows the way by heart. Once again, the sound of the train is all there is. Steady, repeated, like a poem whispered over and over. And even if you don't say a word, every part of you already knows. It's time to let go, time to rest. The train rolls on now through one last stretch of flat land. Up above, the sky's cracking open again, showing off a pale kind of blue, almost silver. The light that shows up is soft, filtered, like a promise of morning. The sound of the wheels still rocks you, but there's something new in it now, a softer kind of lull, like the train itself knows this ride's closing. But it ain't in no rush. The fields outside are soaked from the rain. They shine in the sunrise like someone scattered tiny jewels all over. The world's rinsed, clean, quiet. You feel your body given in all the way. There's a lightness now that wasn't there before. A quiet deep inside, the kind only real peace can bring. The conductor don't show up anymore. Don't gotta. He did what he came to do. Now it's just you, and the sleep creeping in like a warm blanket. Some passengers shift slow in their seats, but no one's in a hurry to get off. The journey, somehow, keeps going even when the train stops. You breathe deep. The air feels cleaner. Every inhale pulls you deeper into rest. Every exhale washes away what don't matter. The train passes through little villages, red-roofed houses, chimney smoke curling up, sleepy dogs lounging in the doorways. Everything out there's just getting started while you're wrapping up. You know you're Erevan, but not at a place you can touch. It's a state, a place inside where time don't run, and the world's all soft edges. Out there, the birds sing, real gentle, real light, like they're whispering welcome to the day and good night to you. The engine finally starts to slow down. The sound shifts, but it's still pretty. One last tune, a slow goodbye. You don't feel like getting up, and you don't gotta. The trip don't end at arrival. It keeps humming inside you, like a quiet echo of peace. The landscape now is just background. What really matters is here, in the loose limbs, the slow breathing, the easy heartbeat. The train stops, but the sleep don't. You lean your head back one more time, and finally drift off.